Hey guys, am I audible? Hello. Okay.
கிளைண்ட் நாளைக்கு வந்து கிளைண்ட் வந்து இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கு. அதான் நீங்க வந்து இன்டர்வியூ தான் ஒன் டே ப்ரிப்பேரா சொல்லுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க.
Guys, the next topic is your database, guys. Database in AWS. Guys, did you remember what we have covered so far? What are the different services we have discussed so far for your batch? Can you tell me high-level topics that we have discussed? EC2, okay. What else? EC2 comes under your compute service. What else we have covered? Guys, I'm expecting you should unmute and tell me. Others, don't you talk? Kritika, Samvil, Saran, Viknesh, are you there or not?
Yes, sir. We are here.
Okay. Others, Kritika, Saran, Raj, Viknesh, you just, talk. Tell me what are the different services we have covered?
Sir, EC2, IAM role.
Yes. IAM we have completed, EC2 we have completed. Then what else?
S3, sir.
S3 we have covered as part of your storage, correct? Then?
And VPC.
VPC we have completed, super. What else? What else we have completed?
EBS,
Sir,
EFS.
EFS.
Yes, the
Yes, sir.
storage part
And
also
also
we have covered.
EBS.
EBS and EFS. Okay, fine. So these are all the topics we have covered. Guys, remember, whenever if you design any product, I already told you multiple times, we have to focus on the four important parameter. The first one is you need to concentrate on your compute service. So for that, we already covered EC2 and all. And an example for your storage service. That we have covered, maybe take an example of S3. S3 is one storage service. And along with that, we also covered the security part, the networking part. So when I say networking, so in networking, we have covered VPC, networking. VPC we have covered, virtual private cloud, we have done. Then fourth one, now we are going to concentrate on our database part. Guys, it is not only for AWS. If we go in an IT company as a developer or a tester or in some other platform also, whenever you deal with your data, you must know the database, guys. That's the reason in AWS also, we should have an idea of database. So without a database idea, definitely we cannot clear the interview. So that's the reason here we are learning a database. Database is one powerful concept. It is in your software engineering, in your computer platform, right? So if someone is asking what is database, can you tell me what is database? What does it mean by database? What do you hear this word?
Collection of persons' data.
Collections of person data, correct? Yes. What else? What is the purpose of database? What is the purpose of database? Why do we need to
Storing the data into the database.
Yes.
Maintain our.
Yes. Exactly. Maintain our data. See, if Someone is asking what is database? Maybe you can tell this answer. A database is nothing but it's a systematic collection of data. Where you have a data in the form of systematic collection of data. Simply we can call it as data collection to store and retrieve. Correct, Aman? So that's the purpose of your database. So to store and retrieve, can I call like this? A data management. I need to manage my data. For that, I need to go for database. Whenever if you want to manage your data, then basically we will go for a database. Say suppose if I want to manage my transactional data I want to manage, or I want to do some kind of data analysis. I need to do some kind of data analysis. What I need to do? Of course, I need a database where I can do the data analysis, where I can do the data transaction, right? Database, it is a systematic collection of a data where we can do the data management, where we can transaction we can do with the help of your database, where we can analyze your data, right? Guys, remember the one thing you have to remember, if you are focusing on data availability, and if you are focusing on data scalability, and there's a less fault tolerance, there is a low fault tolerance. So if you are focusing on this one, availability, scalability, and fault tolerance, right? Then obviously AWS provides your database. AWS is giving a database as a service, database server as a service. So there are two types of service. One is called a managed service. And another one we can call it as unmanaged service. So if you ask me, what is the managed service and what is unmanaged service? What is an unmanaged service? What is managed and what is unmanaged? I can tell you. Remember, suppose if you are going in AWS, you can able to get the database, guys. Say consider we have one database called RDS. RDS means relational database service. In AWS, you can able to obtain service from your AWS, which is called RDS. RDS means relational database service. Now, this data availability, data scalability, fault tolerance, everything, the entire database, who will maintain? Who will manage? AWS will manage. Who will manage? AWS will manage all these parameters on your database. That's nothing but a managed service. But if you take this availability, scalability, fault tolerance, everything, now you are going to manage. Who is managing? Maybe the customer is managing. What you can do, you can create your own database, a custom database, or you can create a database. On maybe some machine, EC2 machine. You can able to create a database on top of EC2 machine, kind of a laptop where you are installing a database and all, and you are doing all the configuration. Here, who is doing? Everything is doing the customer. Then this is nothing but an unmanaged service. There are two managed services. See, in AWS, if we go RDS, right? This is who is managing. If somebody says who is managing, which is managed by your AWS. Say I can call it's a fully managed. Who is fully managing? AWS. AWS has to manage. But if you install some database on your EC2 machine, who should manage? The customer, the user should manage. Maybe self-managed. It is self-managed. Maybe a customer or user. Guys, simply remember, database is nothing but where you can store your collection of data. Why we need to store the data? For data management. and you can able to get the database service from your AWS itself. Instead of going local machine, on top of that, you no need to install any database. What you can do, you can able to get that service, you can avail that service from the AWS itself. From the AWS itself. 1 minute. Hello. வர சொல்றேன். Okay. Now, any questions so far? Are you clear with what is managed service and what is unmanaged service?
Yes.
Any question? What is the managed and unmanaged service? Okay, fine. See, I will tell you some basics. Can you tell me, guys, what are the different databases are available? Now, I am not talking about AWS. Just I am talking about the fundamental. I know you are most of the people from non-IT. Definitely, it will be difficult to understand, but I'm telling guys. So whenever if you get some time, please Google it. What is database? What are the different databases are available? And the basic SQL query that definitely you need to learn. That is definitely you need to learn, because whether you are the developer or tester, I'm not talking like end-to-end flow you should understand from the database. Only the basic SQL query, how it works, right? That whenever you get time, just to do practice, or otherwise, you know, in the evening, 8:30 p.m. Next month, 4th, I think so, 4th February, I'm going to start a new batch on SQL. If you want, you can join and learn few concept over there. But leave it as of now. Can you tell me what are the different two databases, you know? Types of databases? Types of DB. Any idea? Yeah, yes, we have the Oracle, MySQL and all. But I'm talking about the broad classification of a databases. What is the broad classification of a database? Can you anyone? Yes. So one is SQL. Guys, எனக்கு background noise. Mute பண்ணுங்க பார்க்கலாம். Okay, listen. So one is SQL or relational database management system. Relational database management system. And another one is NoSQL database. NoSQL database. NoSQL database. This is the two classification in your database. One is SQL database and another one is NoSQL database. If someone is asking, can you give me some examples for your SQL database? MySQL. Hello. கீழே வர சொல்லிருக்கு. புரியல. So one is MySQL database and another one is we have Oracle. Also it is a relational database. And we have MS Access. MS Access is available. It is another database. And we have a PostgreSQL. Postgres or PostgreSQL. So that also, it is the another database. First hand irukkalada. Postgres is another database, or we can go for MariaDB also. There are different databases are available, guys. Just I have listed one or two here, right? But we have many databases which supports your relational database management system. In the same way, we have a NoSQL database as well. When I say NoSQL database, like MongoDB, MongoDB is one of the NoSQL database, and we have a Cassandra. Cassandra is another database available. CouchDB. CouchDB is also one database. Hadoop. Hadoop is one database is available. HBase. HBase, it is also a database, right? So like this, we have many NoSQL databases also available. So these are the two important classification you have to remember. One is relational database. It means that SQL database, and another one is NoSQL database. NoSQL database. And remember, this is important. This is important. Like database on your EC2, which is self-managed, which is your self-managed, and database that you are creating on RDS, database which you are getting from AWS, which is not a self-managed, it is an AWS managed or fully managed. AWS managed service or fully managed. AWS fully managed. Who is going to manage? AWS is going to manage. Fine. So far, if you have any question, you can ask me. I will tell you. Any question?
Sir, database will be different, sir.
Database, different types of database. Programming language, different types. Java,
Sir.
Python,
Sir.
C#, R language.
Sir.
Database, language compare panna. For an example, database Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, MariaDB, different database. For an example, the database data அந்த டேட்டாவை நீங்க ரிட்ரீவ் பண்ணனும் இல்ல இந்த டேட்டாவை அப்டேட் பண்ணனும் அதுக்கு நீங்க பயன்படுத்துறது query அந்த queryக்கு பேர் தான் SQL structured query language SQL என்றது ஒரு காமன் language SQL என்றது ஒரு காமன் language ஆனா there are different databases company to company vary ஆகும் ஒரு கம்பெனி Oracle பயன்படுத்துவாங்க ஒரு கம்பெனி MySQL பயன்படுத்துவாங்க ஒரு கம்பெனி MS Access பயன்படுத்துவாங்க ஆனா அதுல பயன்படுத்துற language SQL என்ற language SQL என்றது ஒரு language அந்த language பயன்படுத்துறதால நம்மளால என்ன பண்ண முடியும் ஒரு டேபிளை கிரியேட் பண்ண முடியும் ஒரு டேபிள் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஒரு டேபிள் இருக்க டேட்டாவை ஃபெச் பண்ண முடியும் ஒரு டேபிளை அப்டேட் பண்ண முடியும் இதெல்லாம் நம்ம பண்ணலாம் பட் அந்த டேபிள்ல எந்த ஆபரேஷன் பண்றதா இருந்தாலும் நம்மளுக்கு என்ன வேணும் SQL வேணும் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர்டு query language இப்போ ஜாவாக்கே எடுத்துட்டா ஜாவான்றது ஒரு language நம்ம எக்லிப்ஸ்னு ஒரு டூல் இருக்கு அதை பயன்படுத்தலாம் நோட்பேட்னு ஒரு டூல் இருக்கு அதை பயன்படுத்தலாம் இன்டெலிஜென்ட் ஒரு டூல் இருக்கு அதையும் பயன்படுத்தலாம் விஷுவல் ஸ்டுடியோ கோட்னு ஒரு டூல் இருக்கு நெட்பீன் இருக்கு ஜேடெவலப்பர் ராட் இது மாதிரி எக்கச்சக்கமான டூல் இருக்கு ஆனா அதுல பயன்படுத்துற லாங்குவேஜ் என்னது ஜாவான்ற லாங்குவேஜ் நான் சொல்றது புரியுமா
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tool may differ but language never differ language is SQL அவ்வளவுதான் structured query language
அப்ப இதுவும் வந்து ப்ரோகிராமிங் லாங்குவேஜ் தானுங்களா
ப்ரோகிராமிங் நம்ம இத சொல்ல முடியாது structured query language is a kind of a programming language னு சொல்லிக்கலாம் நம்ம SQL எதுக்காக மட்டும் பயன்படுத்துறோம்னா டேட்டாபேஸ்ல இருக்கிற விஷயத்தை ஃபெச் பண்ணி பார்க்கிறதுக்கு டேட்டாபேஸ்ல இருக்கிற ஒரு டேட்டாபேஸ்ல ஒரு டேபிளை கிரியேட் பண்றதுக்கு டேட்டாபேஸோட இன்டராக்ட் பண்றதுக்காக நம்ம என்ன பயன்படுத்துறோம் SQL பயன்படுத்துறோம் ஆனா ஜாவா எதுக்காக பயன்படுத்துறோம் ப்ரோகிராமிங் லாங்குவேஜ் எதுக்காக டேட்டாபேஸோட இன்டராக்ட் பண்றதுக்காக இல்ல ஒரு டேட்டாபேஸையே டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு UI-யை டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு நிறைய டெஸ்டிங் பண்ணலாம் டெவலப்மென்ட் பண்ணலாம் பட் SQL is only for database SQL is only for database yeah sure Jaya so what I'm saying database is only for SQL is only for database SQL is not for developing an application if I want to develop one UI application can I able to use SQL no we cannot use the SQL what we need to do we need to go for a programming language yes Samir say suppose there is a maybe consider like you are going to attend some interview And the company, they are going to manage your data, say your number, your mobile number, your email address, that and all, they are going to manage. Suppose consider like the company, they are saving your data, they are storing your data, all the employee data into some database, right? Later, maybe your TL is asking, or the company manager or company human resource manager is asking, right? Hey, can you tell me the last week Friday, who are all attended the interview for to our company? Like that, they are asking. Now, what the company will do, right? What the management will do, they will write some query. They will write some SQL query. Thereby, they can able to fetch the data from the table. They can able to fetch the data from your table. Consider, suppose I have some employee table. I have some employee table. Consider this is the table we have. So employee number, employee name, job, hire date, manager, salary, and some other thing, and department number. Like that we have a table. Now the company is asking, hey Dinesh, can you tell me what is the hire date of King? What is the hire date of King? So King hire date is 17 November 81. Maybe it is easy, but suppose consider like in your table, if you have a 10 lakhs record, is it easy to find the King data? No, it is very difficult. That time what I will do, right? That time I can open my, I can write the query. What I can write? Select star, select hire date from employee table where the name is what? What is the name? Name is King. Not sure what is the column name. The column name is employee and name actually. E name is equal to King. Like that, I will write the query. When I write the query, it will give me a data. What it will give? It will give hire date, which is nothing but 17 November 1981 or 81. Like that, I can see the output. Are you getting my point? What is the purpose of query?
Yes, Dinesh.
So whenever, if you want to interact with your database, we need a query. That query is nothing but a SQL. Okay, leave it. Now the question is, what is the difference between this SQL database and NoSQL database? Why do we need this two? What is the difference between SQL database and NoSQL database? Nada. Attend பண்ண சொல்லு. Right. So SQL database and a NoSQL database. Now, what is SQL database and what is NoSQL database? Someone can ask you at the time of interview. What is SQL database? It means that relational database management system, SQL database. And what is NoSQL database? Can you tell me the difference? So SQL database is a structured database. Remember, it is a structured database. Why I'm solving structured database? Because here data will be organized. Data will be organized in table. Data will be organized in the form of table like this. Data will be organized in the form of table. It has a fixed column name. It has a different rows. See, if you take this one, Jones information. If you take this one, King information. That's the reason we can call it as it's a structured database. Because here the data will be organized in the form of table. Data will be organized in the form of table. When I say table, table has multiple rows and columns, right? Table has multiple rows and columns. Table has multiple rows and columns. So here your data will be organized as in the form of rows and columns. That's the reason we can call this as a structured database. And it is why it is called relational database. Why it is relational? Why relation? Why this term has been used? Because in real time, if you take one table, say for an example, I have one table called sales table. I have a table called sales table. This sales table can be related with, tables are related to each other, correct? So if you take a sales table, that sales table can be dependent on customer table. If you take a customer table, it depends on order table. If you take an order table, it depends on product table. If you take a product table, it depends on manufacturing table, right? Let me show you. Suppose I will take employee table relation like that. I can see in some Google image, relational database employee table. And see, if you take, let me take this one. Yeah, this. Can you see here? Here we have a person. Here we have a person. Person is, we have SSN number, last name and first name. And see here, this have a project. It has the project ID. It has a name and client. And if you take an employee number and SSN, using this SSN number, you see this is one table, which is employee table, and this table is a person table. Say using this SSN number, I can able to know the first name and last name, right? Say the number 0866300763 in employee table. If you go this person table, the name is, first name is John, James and Lyons. So when you take this security number, social security number, using this number in another table, I can get to know that name. If I take this number, right, employee number, in another table, I can get to know the salary also. The employee number is 3025. The 3025 tells like it's a 15K salary. So that is a relation, right, between the person and the employee and salary. So that's the reason this kind of database, we can call it as relational database. One table as a relation with another table. Are you getting my point? What is relational database?
Yes,
Yeah, one table is dependent on other table.
Yes, correct. In relational database, they will create the many table. All tables are, mean different table. So far clear, what is relational database?
Yes, Dinesh.
So in relational database, the data is in structured format where the data will be stored in the form of rows and column. Where the data will be stored in the form of table. Where the data will be stored in the form of table. It's a structured database. Now, the question is, what is NoSQL database? NoSQL database. What is NoSQL database? So in NoSQL database, where your data, it is not structured, guys. Where the data, it is not structured. In NoSQL database, your data, it is not structured. Unstructured data. Can I say like this? Unstructured. You should know some basics. Unstructured data. Here your data is available. Your data is available in the form of documents. Maybe the data is available in the form of documents, or the data is available in the form of some objects, any files, you can take it. Or your data is available in the form of key value. It is not available in the form of table. It is available in the form of key value, kind of a JSON data. Or the data is available in the form of objects, or the data is available in the form of documents. That's nothing but a NoSQL database. Example, Mongo, Cassandra, CouchDB and all. We'll see practically, then you will get an idea. We have a Redis also. It's a kind of NoSQL database, Redis. So this is the two difference you have to remember. One is structured database and another one is unstructured database. Relational database is the structured database. NoSQL database is the unstructured database. In SQL, where data is available in the form of table. In NoSQL, it is available in the form of documents. It is available in the form of object. It is available in the form of key value. How to remember?
Like data on pie charts, like charts also.
Yeah, you can consider it. It is available in the form of document. Yeah, correct. Now, in AWS, we have many databases, services are available. If we go with the database, in your AWS, there are many services which is provided by your AWS. So let me go to your services. I can see the database. Click on this. Now see, there are different database service which is provided by your AWS. One is Amazon Document DB. It's a fully managed MongoDB. Right? In real time, people use the MongoDB. But the same MongoDB, if you want to get it from AWS, you can able to get it with help of Amazon Document DB. When you create a document DB, you will get the MongoDB. MongoDB is a NoSQL or SQL. It's a NoSQL. And you can go for DynamoDB also. DynamoDB is a NoSQL database. DynamoDB also NoSQL database. I am going to cover this one tomorrow. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will cover this DynamoDB. It is an important concept with respect to interview point of view. And real time also, most of the time we will go for DynamoDB. And we have a Elastic Cache. It is also one of the database. Amazon Keyspace. It is a replacement for our Cassandra. I said right, Cassandra. Cassandra is a NoSQL database. In the same way in AWS, we can find the key spaces. It is a Cassandra service. Suppose if you need the Redis, you can go for MemoryDB for Redis. And we have a Neptune. It's a graph database. As someone is mentioned, right, PyCharm and all, graph database. And we can go for QLDB. It is also one database is available. RDS, relational database. So this is also I'm going to cover. Today we will see one demo. We will see one practical session with respect to your RDS. Key value means, did you remember JSON policy we have added on top of your S3 bucket and all, the policy. So that time we have given key value. The data is available in the form of key value, JSON key value. Let me show one example. So JSON. And if I go images, your data is available in the form of like this, key value, aligns, false, band, true, comment format, false. So this is called a key value. ID, 1, name, something, username, value, email, this one. So key value. Key value. Right? Okay. And RDS and Amazon time string it is also another database service which is provided by your AWS. But what we are going to cover as part of our syllabus, so we are going to cover two databases, the powerful database. One is RDS and another one is the DynamoDB. RDS now to cover SQL database, relational database management service. So for your NoSQL, we will cover the DynamoDB. Today we will focus on RDS. Tomorrow we will talk about non-relational database. So there are two powerful database service in your AWS, remember? So one is your RDS. RDS under the SQL database I'm going to cover. RDS. Relational database service. Relational database service. And another one is DynamoDB. DynamoDB. DynamoDB, it is your NoSQL. It is a NoSQL database. DynamoDB. Any questions so far? Guys?
No,
any-
Dinesh. No.
Fine. So if someone is asking, can you tell me what is RDS? So RDS, who is managing RDS? RDS is managed by your AWS. RDS, it is managed by, relational database service in AWS. It is fully managed service. It is a fully managed service. Who is managing? AWS is managing. This RDS we are going to create as part of your AWS. And remember, it will provide you different engine, guys. It will provide you different engines. There are different engines we can able to create as part of your RDS. What are they if you ask me? We can create an Oracle database. We can create the MySQL database. You can create the MariaDB, or you can go for MS, not, I think I don't have MS access, but MySQL server, I think, or Postgre. We can go for Postgre also. Postgre SQL also we can create. There are different, AWS database server we can able to create with help of your RDS. Let's say practically, then only we'll get it, right? So straight away we will start the practical. So let me select this RDS, or you can search RDS, right? You can search RDS. So we have a relational database service. Click on this. Click on this RDS. Now, guys, today if you have a time, just to watch or Google it, learn some basic concept in database. Only basic concept. Maybe at least 3 hours or 4 hours, you can invest your time on database. Right. So now let me create a database. Click on create a database. And before that, let's read something about database. So RDS. So here, can you see managed relational database service? Managed relational database service. So for your Amazon RTS, for MySQL, Postgre, we can create a different database service from here. Okay, different database service from here. So let me click on create database. And there are two options here. One is standard create and easy create. Did you remember when I create the VPC, I saw two options, right? One is normal VPC and another option is VPC and more. When
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
That will create like own சொல்றதுன்னா இப்போ நிறைய வேணும்னா அதுவே கிரியேட் பண்ணிடும்.
Exactly. When you use the normal VPC, only VPC we can able to create. But if you go for VPC and more, we can able to create the subnet, we can able to create the internet gateway in a single screen. Is that right?
Yes, automatically.
Yeah, correct. In a single screen, we can create all the subnet and internet gateway and peering connection. We can configure in a single screen. That's nothing but your VPC and more. In the same way, in database, they have given two classifications. One is standard create and easy create. If you go with the standard create, so here everything you have to decide. Here everything you need to give. There are, the large screen where you can each and every customization you have to do. But if you go with the easy create, right? Maybe many options, it's a default option. Directly you can create the database. Many option, which is a default option. Are you getting my point? What is easy create and standard create? Only you are different. Yes or no?
Yes.
So let me go with the standard create. Later we will talk about the easy create also. Let's talk about standard create. And see, here, when you create an EC2, what is the first step, guys? When you create an EC2, what is the first step?
So in the next Windows we have to.
Yeah, we have to select what is that one? What is the name called?
Operating system.
Yes, operating system
Yes,
or
operating
AMI.
system or AMI.
Yeah.
Amazon machine image.
Amazon machine image.
Right? In the same way, here, when you create an yes, please don't mute. Sorry, I'm getting echo, guys. So RDS, we have a different database. You can able to get it from AWS, either MySQL database or Oracle or PostgreSQL or Aurora. Aurora is something different. Let me give one demo on different Aurora also. A MariaDB or Microsoft SQL Server. There are different flavors are available. Any flavor you can go. As a beginner, we will start with MySQL. You can go for any database based on your company to company vary. Some company they will go for Oracle DB. Some company they will use MariaDB. Some company will use the MySQL. And some company will use the Microsoft SQL Server. Right? Company to company vary. Right? So I can select my engine type as MySQL. As a beginner, I can start with some powerful database which is called MySQL. MySQL database. Any question? Right.
No, Dinesh.
Okay. So we have selected the engine option, engine type. Engine type. Now, see, here we have a MySQL version, engine version. There are different versions are available here. We have a 5th version, but we have only a limited version, guys. When I go to this RDS, I can see only limited version. 5th version I can see, and the 8th version, that's it. We don't have other versions and all. This is the one drawback, right? But if you go with the EC2, on top of that, if you are creating any database, whatever the version that you want, you can install it. Suppose if you need a 9th version, you can install. If you need a 6th version, you can install. If you need a 2nd version, you can install. Whatever the client wants or whatever the company wants, that particular version you can able to install on top of the EC2, on top of your machine. But if you go with the RDS, only the limited version is available from AWS. Only those versions you can able to install. Maybe let me go with a default version 8.0.28. It is the MySQL version. I have used this one. So there are two things you have to remember. First, I have selected which database I want. I want the MySQL database. And what is the version that I'm expecting? Here we have a list of version. In that, I have taken some version. And the template. Guys, in real time, we have a different environment, right? Dev environment, QA environment, staging environment, production environment, beta environment, alpha environment. Like that, we have a many environment we can able to see in the real time. So most of the time, if you need a database in the production environment, you can go for production server. Suppose if you are expecting your database in your dev and staging environment, you can go this one. But let's, as of now, I'm working on my free tier environment. So I can select this one. So if you ask me the free tier eligibility, free tier AWS. So you will get the database. See, you will get the RDS of 750 hours for first 1 year, 12 month free. Guys, always remember, whenever if you are dealing with the free tier, whenever you utilize the particular resources, once your task is completed, terminate that one, delete that one. Otherwise, unwanted charges will be happen. Maybe next session, remember me, I will tell you how can I add some notification. Suppose if you are exceeding some budget, we can enable some notification also. Next session, I will tell you. In order to, not without, happening in the credit card or debit card, whatever that you have given.
Dinesh, it won't affect in future now.
Affect it will, that's the reason, always remember, suppose if you are utilizing partially, you just, delete the account and create a new account, better.
Okay.
Because even though they have given 1 year, but again, there are different services they are giving. It is not like 24/7. There is a limit, right? See, they have given 20 GB. They have given limit. Suppose if you are using one EC2 instance, that's fine. But if you are using two EC2 instance, it will be reduced as what? It will be reduced as 375 hours. 750 divided by 2, what? 350, 375, right? Yes. Suppose if you are using 3 instance, again 750 divided by 3. Suppose if you are using S3 and EC2 same time, again it will be reduced, right? For that reason only I am saying. Whenever you utilize any resources, try to terminate that one, try to delete that one. Fine?
Okay.
Will they deduct amount from credit card automatically? Yes, Saman. Suppose if you are exceeding the limit, they will deduct the amount from credit card automatically. Okay. Okay. Right. So let me go with the free tier. And this thing we will not get if you go with the free tier. If you go with the production or maybe a dev or test, that time only you can see this one. So which is multi-availability zone DB cluster. Suppose if you want your replica of data is available in the different availability zone, you can go with this one. As after I will go with the free tier. And the rest of the portion we'll see. And what is the name of your database? What is the name that I'm going to give? Say suppose I will give, this is RDS. I have used MySQL demo. MySQL demo. Or you can give a date also. Say 22 March. And I think it will not accept. Okay, 22nd March. Okay. And I have to give username. Master. நீ உள்ள வராத. Yeah. So RDS MySQL 22nd March. It is an instance identifier. After this, we can give some username, because if you want to log into database, right? So we need to give the username and password. So you can give any username. Let me go with the default username and give the password. Some password you can give it, guys. You can set some password. Here also you can set some password. You can set your password. So it is not matching. So here also I'm going to give some password. What happened? Yes. So it is done. And instance configuration. Guys, remember when you go with your EC2 instance, there are first two options, right? One is AMI and then instance type. One is software part and another one is hardware part. We already selected the software part. Now it is the time to select hardware part. The hardware part, you can go with anything. T2 micro, T3 micro, we can go for. Whatever the free tier eligible, we can go for. So let me go with the T2 micro. And here also we have a many option, right? Standard class, memory optimized and all. So standard class and memory optimized, when you will get it, if you select here the production or dev test, if you select that one, you will get that one. But I have selected the free tier. That's the reason I am not able to see this memory optimized standard classes and all. Did you remember we have a different instance types are available? General purpose, accelerator computing, memory optimized, storage optimized. Did you remember? In the same way, in database also we have a different instance type. Right? Anyway, we are going to cover in the next session. So as of now, leave it. Only T2 micro I have selected. And storage part. In AWS EC2 instance also we have a storage part, right? General purpose SSD, cold HDD, provision IOPS. So in the same way, for database also, as of now, no need to worry. Everything you can keep it as a default. You can keep it as a default. For this also we have a VPC and all. Keep it as a default. Nothing you have to fill. So anyway, we are going to cover. You just leave this part. You don't need to fill it. So only thing is what we filled. So one is we have selected the database engine, and free tier you can select, and you can give some identifier name and set your username and password. So once it is completed, create a database. We can create the database. So we can create the database. So we'll wait actually. Is everyone clear how to create the database, or do you want me to give one more demo? Can you tell me?
Clear, Dinesh.
So create a RDS. We have created one RDS. So it is creating, actually it will take some time, guys. Database, it will take some time. And can you tell me, guys, what is the difference between storage and database? What is the difference between storage and database?
Storage could be maybe temporary. Database is permanent.
No, it is not a temporary one. Storage is for your file, like images, PDF, right? The object. That is storage. Database is basically a storage, but it stores a data record, which can be queried using a query language, right? A structured query language. So data we are storing in the form of table, maybe consider like that's a database as of now. And you are storing some images and file, documents, videos, that comes under your storage. Are you getting my point? What is database and what is storage? S3 is the storage. EBS is the storage. EFS is the storage. A database, it is also a storage, but where we are going to store the records, data. Later we can able to access your data with the help of a query language. Right. It is taking a long time. So suppose if you want to work with this database, right, we need the SQL client. Maybe in your local laptop, we can download some SQL client, and that SQL client, can able to interact with this server. That's the one way. If you want to interact with this database, what you guys can do in your local machine, you can download some SQL client. That it is available actually. SQL client, like that if you type. So there are different clients are available. I will go with SQL itself. That's called as SQL. Client download. Yes, here. It's an SQL server. We have a GUI too. SQL Server Management Studio. 1 minute. I can show some image. After that, I will send you a image. Okay. So this is kind of an SQL client. So you can download this SQL client, and then you can write the query in order to deal with your table, in order to deal with your server, in order to interact with your server. That's the one way. Suppose if you need a SQL client, you can go for EC2 machine also. In your EC2 machine, on top of that also, you can create an SQL client and you can deal with this SQL server. Let me teach you that one now. See, I will. Where is that? Backing up. How long it will take, I'm not sure. We'll see. Now, let me create one EC2 instance. Create an EC2 instance. Click on launch an instance. Click on launch instance. And give this is, say this is RDS SQL that I'm going to create on top of EC2. And AMI, T2 micro, key pair, -VPC, and rest of the things and all, keep it as default. And only one thing I'm going to do here, instead of this AMI, I can go with this one. This is the old AMI. Amazon Linux 2 AMI, kernel, yes, click on launch instance. And then okay. Let's wait. Here we have a database. Okay. So it's running. Now let me click on connect. I can copy the SSH client command, open my terminal and close this and clear this. CD downloads only. I'm here, right? What I can do, I can copy and paste it. This is such command and give yes. Yes. Now I can able to connect to my instance EC2 machine. I can able to connect. Now on top of this, I will check whether is there SQL client is available. by using the command called mysql space hyphen version. Press enter. MySQL command not found. It means that MySQL is not available in my machine. So what I need to do now, I have to install MySQL. So let me log in as a sudo user. Now I am the root user. I am the root user. I will install MySQL. Can you tell me guys how to install a software? How to install a software? Yum, correct. We have to use a package called yum package. Yum install space -y. What is the software that I need to install? MySQL software I need to install. And press enter. Now it will start installing your MySQL software. See, it is installing. Super. Now let me type MySQL space -hyphen version. When you press enter, yeah, I got the MySQL client. I got it. I got the MySQL client. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Guys, can you confirm how to install the MySQL? No or no?
Yeah, Dinesh.
Okay. Now how to connect your EC2 to your MySQL database, which you already created. You have created the MySQL database, right? That I need to connect. So for that, you need to write one command. For that, you need to write your command. Then only you can able to access your MySQL database. So the command is, remember, the command is MySQL space -h, okay, space -h space. You have to give the database endpoint. Every database that you have created, right? That database has some endpoint that you have to give. MySQL space -h database endpoint space -p. The database has some port number. That has some port number. You have to give the port number. So the port number, default port number of database is 3306. Default MySQL database port number is 3306. And then you have to give a username. You can give the username. Already you have given master username, right? That username you have to give it. And you have to give the password. -p is a represent password. So this is the command you have to use it. Let me tell you, MySQL space -h space database endpoint, right? How can you get the database endpoint? When you click on this, you can see the database endpoint here. Can you see under the connectivity and security, you have a database endpoint. Let me copy this and paste it over there. Space -p port number 3306 space -u space. You have to give the username. What is the username? Username is here. Username is here. What is the username? I think under the configuration. Yeah, this is the username. Admin is the username in my case. Admin is the username. Admin space -p. So let me copy this command. Copy this command and go to your terminal. Let's paste it. Clear the screen and paste it. Now press enter. We'll see. It is asking me the password, right? I have to give the password. Whatever the password that I have given there. So I will pass the password. What happened? We'll see whether it is connecting or not. Well, wait. I think it is not connecting. Why? Maybe the reason is this one. Here it is available only. Okay. It is available. Okay, let me stop and connect once again. Press enter and give the password now. Give the password now. Let's wait, guys. Let's wait. It should connect. It should connect my database. MySQL space -h RDS -MySQL. It is an endpoint -p port number -u admin I have given -p password also it is asking. Given the password also, and why it is taking time? We'll see. Error cannot connect to MySQL server on RDS. One second. Let's see one minute. So I will go to the server. And this is my machine. Is there any security group? And then I can edit the inbound rule. So we have a MySQL Aurora. Let me select anywhere. Save this one. Let's see now. Guys, I need some time. So I will check this one. Long back, I was working this one, but that time it was working. So what is the changes happen? I am not So leave it, guys. Tomorrow we'll continue. But whatever that I covered, just read it once again. Fine. It should work, but I'm not sure. We'll see tomorrow. Fine, guys.
Yeah, Dinesh.
Yes, yes, Dinesh.
You can create the database, guys, but how to access the database? I will tell you tomorrow. Bye.